Gopala, Gopala, Gokula Nandana Gopala. Gopala, Gopala, Gokula Nandana Gopala. Gopala, Gokula Nandana Gopala. Yadukula Tilaka Gopala, Yadava Nandana Gopala. Yadukula Tilaka Gopala, Yadava Nandana Gopala. Gopala, Gopala, Devaki Nandana Gopala, Gopala, Devaki Nandana Gopala, 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 Devaki Nandana Gopala. Devaki Nandana Gopala, Venu Vilola Gopala, Vijaya Gopala Gopala, Venu Vilola Pala, Vijaya Gopala Gopala. Gopala, Gopala, Radhika Vallabha Gopala, Gopala. Gopala, Gopala, Radhika Vallabha Gopala, 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 Radhika Vallabha Gopala, Navanita Chora Gopala, Nanda Kumara Gopala, Navanita Chora Gopala, Nanda Kumara Gopala, 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 Gokula Nandana Gopala, 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 Gokula Nandana Gopala, Yadukula Tilaka Gopala, Yadava Nandana Gopala, Yadukula Tilaka Gopala, Nandana Gopala, Gopala, Devaki Nandana Gopala, 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 Devaki Nandana Venu Vilola Gopala, Vijaya Gopala Gopala, Venu Vilola Gopala, Vijaya Gopala Gopala, 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 Radhika Vallabha Gopala, Gopala, Bala, Radhika Vallabha Gopala, Navanita Chora Gopala, Nanda Kumara Gopala, Anita Chora Gopala, Nanda Kumara Gopala, 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 Gokula Nandana Gopala. Gopala, Gopala, Gokula Nandana Gopala, 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 Gokulanandana Gopala.
I grew up in India with 300 family members in the childhood house. Now, in the last 62 years' time, over 100 family members gone. Here in the ashram also, 2 Swamijis with whom I used to attend classes gone. Thinking of this, feel very sad. Now, in the camp teaching, we are to prepare for ourselves to get a human birth. Now the question is, why? Yeah. Your question is right out of the teachings of the 2nd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmad apariharyerthe natvam shochitum arhasi. For the one that is subject to birth, death is certain. For the one that is subject to death, birth, rebirth is certain, unless of course one gains the knowledge. Knowing this, there is no cause for grief. This is what Lord Krishna says, easier said than done, because grief comes out of a sense of 2 reasons. Out of a sense of a loss or bereavement, which leads to fear of one's own endings. Since that self-ignorance is there and the knowledge is not there that I am Atma, Brahman, so therefore there is this identification with this body, and the thought of the body ending puts one in peril, because one thinks, if the body is ending, I am ending. And so the 100 family members that are gone have gone. So that's the one reason. The second reason is, when somebody you love departs, you are still there holding your end of the relationship. You are still spouse, you are still friend, you are still significant other, mother, father, so many things, offspring, child. But the other person is not there to fulfill their end of the bargain, you see. That's why there is this loss. Because you continue to be sister, brother, mother, father, spouse, friend. But the other person is not there to fulfill that. There is a gap. That's why we take the time to grieve. Before we can get to the place that there is no cause for grief, we have to take the time to grieve. And that is the teaching. In fact, that's the first portion of the Veda. In the Hindu Dharma, 1 year of mourning. Here in the West, 1 weekend, finished. In fact, other than death, everything is tried to fit into the weekend. Weddings are in the weekend, baby showers are in the weekend, everything is in the weekend. And so this is what it is. And so therefore, the In India, it's not like that. One takes the time to grieve as long as 1 year. There is that ceremony after 13, 14 days. There is a ceremony, 13th day. There is a ceremony after 1 month. There is a monthly ceremony all the time. There is, 6 months there is something. 1 year there is an anniversary. So like this, there is lots of time to grieve. Grief is in fact, the letting out of grief is encouraged individually and in the community because it is very cathartic. So when one is able to do that, then what happens is that one is able to overcome this grief also and understand that it's just the body that dies. This is something we have to really allow to sink in. And what is the use of a body that is of no use to oneself or anybody at all? Let's say the person is infirm, can't move, can't eat, can't drink, can't get up. And so, in a way, it's a relief to be free of such a body. Nobody wants to live like that. Supposing even if it's a sudden death, sudden to us, actually the onset of Lord Yama was happening inside, in the form of blocked arteries, in the form of a failing kidney. Nobody knows. So that is also not sudden. Sudden to us, that's it. And so it is, when you think about death, what happens is that there is that dejection that we talked about earlier in the class that comes on. And so we have to be able to slowly heal that. Because life is purposeful. There is joy in every step of the way. There is joy all around us. Because that is what is called Ishwarizing the universe. When you Ishwarize the universe, it is Ananda. It's all joy. And in that, when we stay in the present, you don't worry about last birth, you don't worry about next birth. You stay right now, right here in the present, and what is there is beautiful. With all the difficulties, with all our incapacities, there is beauty, there is joy, and that is what we constantly touch. Somebody said, I need magic in my life. Life is already magical. You just look, there is magic every day. Every day something happens. Something you thought lost, you suddenly found, and it's magical. Especially if it is one's sanity, even more magical. So like this, every minute of every day can be magical if you look at it with the eyes of a child, the eyes of wonder. And that is what this teaching is all about. The Brahma Sutras say that the person of enlightenment is like a child. Looks at everything with wonder, no resentment, no guilt, no hurt, and is blessed with spontaneity. Very, very nice. So that's where we have to go. This is something from online viewers, I think. So, Shambhavi, you have mentioned that a mumukshu had already started the search towards oneself, order to find freedom. Mumukshu is somebody who has started one's life to search for freedom. Is it correct to say Jignasu is the one who knows that this search should be done through the Shastra only? Yes, your understanding is correct. Mumukshu, seeker, desirer of freedom, Jignasu, desirer of knowledge, because the Jignasu has understood that mumuksha, the desire for freedom, cannot be gained without immersing into the Shastra, into the knowledge. You see that? That is what is the difference. So, yes, you are correct. How come we can talk about the time of realization or enlightenment when it comes to the Lord Buddha, but not when it comes to any other jnani? Nice question. So, I always say that enlightenment, quote unquote, self-knowledge is not an event that happens to the self. If self-knowledge is an event that happens to the self, then we are in trouble. Because then the self is subject to time and the event unfolds in time, and then this time becomes more long-lasting than the self. Self becomes finite, time becomes infinite, but that's not the case. Self is the canvas on which all events in time, in space unfold. Events do not happen to the self because events cannot change the self. So what is Atmajnanam? It's not an event. So there are some, I was telling earlier in some other class, that there are some people who like to celebrate Enlightenment Day. Yesterday I was a Buddhu, now I am Buddha. So this is not in keeping with the Shastra at all. So this is not how it works. Because it's not something, enlightenment is not something that's happening to the self. The self is already enlightened, so here we are talking of a discovery that can be best described as a growing clarity. The clarity grows when the ignorance is dropped little by little by little. This is what is also described in the second or the third chapter, I think, of Jivan Mukti Viveka, where the hubris, I already have the knowledge, is quickly taken away after more Shravanam. Oh, I thought I knew then. Now, the more I know, I realize how little I really know. Then 6 months later, one thinks, okay, are we there yet? Am I a jnani? I think so, yes. Okay. Then after that, 6 months later, I don't know what I was thinking. Now I really know. So it's a series of aha moments. It's a series of growing clarity as the cataract of the vision of division drops. That is, enlightenment. So really speaking, there is no need to talk about, when did the jnani become a jnani is a funny question, because that Atmajnanam you were never away from. And so certain garbage had to be thrown away, correct? And then when the garbage of raga, dvesha, strong prejudices, preferences, and anger, jealousy, all these emotional, baggage, that was thrown away, then the clarity came forward. It was clear. When you do spring cleaning, you find that suddenly your house has an extra room that you never knew about, because it was full of all kinds of things. It's like that. So just like when you throw away the garbage, do you call a press conference? Do you call all the TV stations to say, look, I am throwing so much garbage, look, please put it in the front pages of the newsletter, I am the best disposer of my own garbage. No. In fact, the garbage throwing is done in the dead of the night, when it is dark. And you look at the bag and you say, I'm just one person living in this house. How did I produce so much garbage? And kind of apologetically, with a little prayer to Mother Earth, you go and throw it. You don't want to make a big deal out of it because it is just what needs to be done. So the ajnana is the garbage, is the baggage. And the ajnana is thrown away. And what is there to celebrate? Just like you don't celebrate garbage, disposing the garbage. That is why there is no need to celebrate quote-unquote day of enlightenment. But how come it's okay for the Lord Buddha? Well, we have certain assumptions. He was meditating for a long time, and then he said he's finished with meditating because I know. And they interpreted that to say, okay, this is the moment you know. This is done by the followers. Lord Buddha never said yesterday, I was Buddhu, today I am Buddha. He didn't say that. Yeah. Buddhu means ignorant. He didn't say that. He was sitting and meditating, and the full moon day came in the month of May. A full moon day came, and it is still called Buddha Purnima. A full moon day or night came, and he just got up. And he said, okay, I'm done with Nididhyasana, I'm done with whatever Dhyana, Nididhyasana, whatever I was doing, I'm done with. Seeing that, people came into the conclusion that yesterday you didn't know, now you know. And so we'll celebrate this day. The celebration is not for the Lord Buddha, the celebration is for the followers. That's what it is. And so this is something that needs to be, understood. Aiye, baithiye.
Jai 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 Shri Ganesha. Jai 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 Jai. Jai 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 Shri Ganesha. Jai 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 Shri Ganesha. Jai Shri Ganesha Bhagavan. Jai Shri Ganesha. Jai Shri Ganesha Bhagavan. Jai Shri Ganesha Bhagavan. Jai 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 Shri Ganesha. Jai Jai Jai. Jai 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 Shri Ganesha. Jai 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 Jai. Jai Shri Ganesha Bhagavan. Jai Shri Ganesha Bhagavan. Jai Shri Ganesha Bhagavan. Jai Shri Ganesha Bhagavan. Jai Shri Ganesha. Jai Shri Ganesha. Shri Ganesha. Jai Shri Ganesha. Jai Shri Ganesha, Jai Shri Ganesha, Jai Shri Ganesha, Jai Shri Ganesha, Jai Shri Ganesha Bhagavan, Jai Shri Ganesha Bhagavan, Jai Shri Ganesha Bhagavan, Jai Shri Ganesha. Jai 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 Shri Ganesha. Jai Shri Ganesha Bhagavan. Jai Shri Ganesha. Jai Shri Ganesha Bhagavan. Jai Shri Ganesha Bhagavan. Jai Shri Ganesha. 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 Jai Shri Ganesha Bhagavan. 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 Jai Shri Ganesha Bhagavan.
Wonderful.
Jai Shri Ganesha.
in the morning session, Jivan Mukti Viveka class, you talked about devotees dancing Rasa Leela with Bhagavan. And here one is identifying with the body. Does this lead to Jivan Mukti too? I didn't understand that part. Please clarify, elaborate. Yeah, I was talking about how Jivan Mukti is not something that is subscribed to by everybody. Not by the Dvaita Mata, the dualists, or the Vishishtadvaita Mata either. Jivan Mukti is unique to Advaita Vedanta because the other theologies believe that as long as this body is there, one cannot be limitless. Because the body is taken to be a hindrance to express that infinitude which is Brahman. And even though one may be Brahman, it is not possible to understand that. That is what, so that is what I was talking about. Yeah, so it is Dvaita Mata that one gets a different body in Gokula, Vrindavana or any other Loka, Vaikuntha, etc. And there one can dance with Bhagavan, take a selfie, etc. So that is the idea. So then one has experienced Jivan Mukti due to the knowledge. If this person has Alzheimer's, can they still remember the knowledge of being Mukta? Like that Mahatma story I was telling you, he had dementia or Alzheimer's something, but he could not even remember his own student. But that doesn't deny you the knowledge. You may not have pratyabhignya, the recalling, oh yes, at first I was an ajnani, now I am a jnani, and now I have forgotten that I am a jnani. That is not there. But the jnanam is not centered on the mind. It is you. Since it is you, there is, it is not affected by the forgetting. The jnani may not be able to say, I am a jnani. Not that even a jnani without dementia should say that, but the jnani without dementia will also not say that. So the jnani may not be saying that. But the jnani is still a jnani. Because who is a jnani? For whom the Atma Ajnanam has been dismissed, gone. That is a jnani. This is what the Shastra says. So it doesn't matter if one has dementia. Just like if you gain Atma Jnanam, somebody, let's say, gains Atma Jnanam and understands I am whole and free, and then gets into, let's say, God forbid, a car accident and loses one leg. Are they still whole? Yes. Same thing. The loss of an appendage, including the mind, does not remove or does not affect the jnanam. Okay? Yeah. You had a question? No. You? No? Okay. $11 class laid down the camp study and mentioned we will get 5 in returns. Sorry, duty waking up at 4 o'clock, suddenly took nap. So missed the details. Oh yeah, the phala of Jivan Mukti. Okay. Yeah, Dukkha Nasha, 1, correct. Destruction of sorrow. Sukha Avirbhava, the experience of joy. Then the Jnana Samraksha, the knowledge is always with you, it is protected because nishtha is there. Then Visham Vada Abhava, not Vishaya Bhava, Visham Vada Abhava. Visham Vada Abhava means there is no argumentation. The desire to be correct, the desire to be right all the time is not there. And you don't want to get into an argument. There's nothing to disagree with, and you may disagree because the person is really clearly on the wrong path. But if they are not in a readiness to hear that, you just keep quiet and you don't say anything. So you don't want to get into an argument, because each time you argue and you defend, you become defensive or you become offensive, and each time it reproduces samsara. And that is why the one with Jivan Mukti will have no penchant for Vishamvada. And then the other one is also the tapas is protected. Taporaksha is there. All the austerities that one has done for the calming of the mind, all that fruitions in the form of a calm mind, a wonderful body, etc. And so that is how it is kept well. These are the 5 phalas of Jivan Mukti. Why have Jivan Mukti? For these reasons. In fact, even the first reason, Dukkha Nasha, is enough. You don't even need the other reasons. Sorrow is not there. That itself is enough.
The volume, it's okay with the, okay. I can't tell from here. Shivoham, Shivoham, Satchidananda Shivoham, 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 Satchidananda Shivoham, 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 Satchidananda Shivoham, 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 Satchidananda Shivoham, Satchidananda Shivoham, Satchidananda Shivoham, Satchidananda Satchidananda Shivoham, Satchidananda Shivoham, Satchidananda Shivoham, Satchidananda Shivoham, 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 Satchidananda Shivoham, 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 Satchidananda Shivoham, 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 Satchidananda Shivoham, 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 Satchidananda 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 Shivoham,
Satchidananda Shivoham,
Satchidananda Shivoham, Satchidananda Shivoham, Satchidananda Shivoham,
Satchidananda Shivoham,
Shivoham, Shivoham, Satchidananda Shivoham, Shivoham,
Shivoham, Satchidananda Shivoham,
Satchidananda Shivoham,
Satchidananda Shivoham,
Satchidananda Shivoham,
Satchidananda Shivoham. This one also very nice, very beautiful. All the cadences, very well done. Can we reach to get a divine body in our lifetime? Thankfully, the question is answered in the next line. Why do I need a divine body? Good point. You don't need one. This body is enough for moksha. Body is moksha yatana. Moksha yatana means it is a vehicle for moksha. This body is a perfect body for moksha. And if you try telling me my body is not perfect, I have all these problems. I can't eat, I can't drink, I can't do this, I can't do that. Even then it's a still perfect body for moksha. It is a place where it is a karma bhumi, it's a place where the karma is articulated. And it is a place for moksha because one has complexes centered on the self. Because of the body, you can sit, you can stand, you can attend class, you can listen. It's amazing. It's a gift. If one was disembodied, then you can't even go in search of a teacher because you don't have a mouth to say, I need a teacher. Let's say one is, there is a tale, a story like one becomes a Brahma Rakshasa, some kind of a disembodied ghost sitting on a tree. The guru is walking underneath. You can't even say, hey guru, teach me, because you don't have a mouth. You can't ask for the knowledge. You don't have, you don't have a way to gain that knowledge. You just have a subtle body. So therefore the gross body is very, very important. You don't need any other body. Why? This body itself is difficult to manage. To bathe it, feed it, and keep it well is a full-time job. And keep it away from pandemic and other such things. It's a full-time job. Think of how much sanitizer we have used in the past 2 years. Before that, we didn't even know these things existed. It's a full-time job to keep safe, to ward off parasites, and to keep it going for the sake of knowledge. So this body is enough. It's perfect. And since the karma expresses through it, the body also becomes a place where all the core issues can be taken care of. All the core issues, like certain core issues about not liking the body, feeling unloved, all these things. So this is, this is yoga yatana. Yoga yatana means it's a vehicle for yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, moksha yatana. It is not bhoga yatana. It is not a place for consumption purely. You eat in order to live. And if you're a Vedantin, you eat in order to study. You don't live in order to eat. So that is the idea. You don't need any other body. This body is plenty. Then Nice question. How can we develop our intellect so we make the right decision and get the right action? Yeah, that is what the point is. To be in a place of making the right decision at all times. To be in the right place at the right time is a great blessing. One can't always engineer that, and therefore one is very careful. And so what does one do? One prays for help. And the best prayer is the Gayatri mantra. Chant the Gayatri. It's very interesting. Gayatri is the first mantra that is taught when the child is led. Upanayana, when the child in the tradition is initiated into the study of the Vedas, one mantra is taught. The first mantra is the Gayatri mantra. It's interesting. You don't ask for money, you don't even ask for knowledge, you don't ask for health. Dhiyaha naha prachodayat. Please stimulate our intellect. Let the buddhi make the right decisions. Give the buddhi that is capable of making the right decision. And therefore what? Therefore I can just, when I make the right decision, I'm already in alignment in a wonderful way. This is what is prayed for. But we have to ask for it properly. Because sometimes in the vernacular renderings, Dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Na prachodayat means please don't stimulate my intellect. Naf prachodayat. Naha prachodayat. That visarga is there for a reason. You can't just swallow it. So that visarga, when it is followed by a labial consonant, like pa, the hard consonants, pa or pa, you get a sound called upadmaniya, like a if sound. Dhiyo yo naf prachodayat. Om bhur bhuvas suvaha. The three worlds, bhuhu, this world, and other two worlds, I take as witness, I invoke. And what am I invoking? Tat savituhu. Bhargaha. Bhargaha from bridge, dahane. The one who burns. Like even the light of the sun that burns everything. So the Lord is likened to the sun. Sun is not here invoked as the Lord, but the Lord is likened to the sun that burns away papa upon contact. Burns away all omissions, commissions, guilt, frees one from hurt and guilt. Bhargaha, the consumer of one's own omissions and commissions. Tat varenyam. That itself is to be chosen as the deity of invocation. Bhagavan in the form of a burner. The one who scorches away all the things that I don't want and all the things I have let go of. The scorcher of papas. Hurt, guilt, fears, sorrow. Bhargaha devasya dhimahi. I invoke that. Bhagavan. And what do I ask for? Dhiyaha naha prachodayat. It's a collective prayer. Naha. Naha means our. May our intellects be thinking the right thing, be in alignment with your intellect, with Bhagavan's purpose for us. May we be in alignment. That is what is being in right place at the right time. And this is what the child is taught. Just to repeat every day after initiation. What a blessing. And the child grows up chanting that, chanting that, chanting that. And even if it kind of inheres through generations, So even though the current children are not chanting that, parents have chanted that, grandparents have chanted that. That's why for the last 25 years in the national spelling bee scripts, only Indian children come. Yeah, there is something to that. This is the effect of the Gayatri mantra coming down. Mostly, I mean, other nationalities and ethnicities are there. But there is this some kind of it gives a brilliance. It allows you to let go and connect to that buddhi, which is the source, which is that reflected brilliance of Bhagavan, Pratibimbita, Abhasa. That is what it is. Just magnificent. They may not even know what Gayatri is, but they are excelling in this because it sharpens the memory, it sharpens the skills, retention power, Medha Shakti, Grahana Shakti, the grasping, Medha Shakti, the intellectual power is divided into two, Grahana Shakti, grasping power, and then repeating that. Repetition, Anuchana Shakti. And so this is, it is very, very powerful. And that's in fact a very good mantra. And it is never given up. After sannyasa also, it is rolled into that Om, which is the first syllable. Om Bhur Bhuvas Suvaha, that Om. The whole thing is, it is rolled into the Om, from which the mantra has ensued, into which sound the mantra, all mantras resolved, that Om is kept even after sannyasa. It's not a small thing. Very big thing. Yeah. Any other questions? So we will have a concluding bhajan and then close the session.
Tiny frog.
Is it a frog?
Devotee came here and sat for a while looking up, and then he went back this way. He must be there with you somewhere.
I hope I don't step on him, that's the only
Okay,
thing.
we'll make sure. He went back that way.
I think the rains must have sent him inside.
Om Anandam, Om Anandam, Om Anandam, Om Anandam, Om Anandam, Om Anandam. Om Anandam, Om Anandam, Om Anandam, Om Anandam, Ramanandam, Om Anandam,
Brahmanandam,
Om Anandam, Om Anandam, Om Anandam, Om Anandam, Sitanandam, Om Anandam, Sitanandam, Om Anandam, Sitanandam, Sitanandam, Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Rama, Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya 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 Sitaram Jaya Jaya Hanumana Jaya Sitaram Jaya Jaya Hanumana Om Anandam 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 Ramanandam
Om Anandam Brahmanandam
Om Anandam Sitanandam Om Anandam Sitanandam Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Ram Jaya
Jaya Rama
Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Ram Jaya
Jaya Rama
Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Ram Jaya
Jaya Rama
Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Jaya Sitaram Jaya Jaya Hanumana Jaya Sitaram Jaya
Jaya Hanumana
Jaya Sitaram Jaya Jaya Hanumana Jaya Sitaram
Jaya Hanumana
Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama
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 Om Anandam Om Anandam
Om Anandam Om Anandam
Om Anandam Om Anandam
Om Anandam Om Anandam
Om Anandam Om Anandam Om Anandam Om Anandam
Thank you. Pardon me? I don't know. You read it and tell me. I don't know what it's saying.
The spiritual journey of a psychotherapist.
Yeah, interesting. You like such titles. Yeah, you enjoy that, so I thought you might like it. Welcome.
I think it was launched here last summer.
Yeah, perfect. Wonderful. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Amritangamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om